From the Smith Center in Chapel Hill, this is TarHeelIllustrated.com, and if you're watching on our YouTube channel, Tar Heel Illustrated, I'm THI staff writer Jacob Turner, and joining me tonight, as he always does, following a Carolina basketball or football game, our very own publisher, Andrew Jones. And Andrew, saw quite the win tonight for Carolina over Louisville, 99-54 on this court, right there behind us. Huge win for the Tar Heels. I tweeted it out towards the end of the game. Didn't see this one coming. I didn't see a 45-point victory coming. I don't think a lot of people did. I know there's a little bit of different factors which we'll kind of talk about that maybe went into it with just the lack of that Louisville's played over the past couple weeks, something Roy mentioned as well. But overall, really good performance from the Tar Heels. I think the first thing we need to talk about, though, the freshmen combined for a school record 71 points. 71 of Carolina's 99 points came from the freshmen. I know you've got some other stats you're going to kind of read off about the freshmen as well, but man, what a performance from them overall. And I think we're starting to see kind of the growth of some of these guys getting a little more comfortable, which is what Armando Bacot kind of touched on. Roy Williams, I think, touched on a little bit as well. But, just a great performance from all the freshmen tonight, really.
Yeah, we could do like 14 things video, and we'll be here while they have the security ushering us out. Jake will be holding the camera and shouting off the next 5 good things or whatever. And they were all positive, except
so
one
much
negative.
To talk about,
We're not going to talk about free throw shooting tonight.
Yeah, we'll let that go.
Carolina closed the half on a 31-12 run.
Yep.
It was 17-all, 31-12 run. The last 33 points of the first half were scored by freshmen.
That's unbelievable. I remember you said that at some point up there in the press row or something.
20 of the last 23 shots taken in the first half were by freshmen. Mm-hmm. They were 14 for 20 over the last, 11 minutes of the half. Mm-hmm. They were awesome.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
And they were getting them in all kinds of ways. Kerwin had his eruption, Dayron had his eruption, and at the end of the half, we've seen Caleb with some breakaway dunks going back to Miami. That was the first time he did one, and he kind of yelled a little bit, and we talked about that. And then the one at Duke where he screamed, I said, he's starting to come out of his shell. Then we talked about after the Northeastern game how he was managing the game. Mm-hmm. He didn't score a lot of points tonight, but he looked comfortable out there. Yeah. So at the end of the half, Garrison Brooks did an amazing job on a denial on an inbound in the baseline with 4 seconds left. He deflected it out to Caleb, who was just on like Louisville's left wing. Yeah. Caleb raced up the court, had a defender who was longer than him on him, and he flushed that thing with big-time authority. I'm not a guy that gets totally enamored by dunks and stuff like that, but sometimes a dunk like the one at Duke meant more than 2 points because they had a little more extra stuff with it, This one was the same way. That was an emphatic moment to end the half because a horn sounded before the ball hit the floor. Before the ball even hit the floor. I think Louisville was done. And I think that play did them in. I think that was the final straw. They got it to 15, and then Carolina went on a 41-9 run.
Just responded,
in which 8 different players hit field goals in that run. Yeah, I remember that including one. Creighton Lebo hit the last one.
No, Creighton Lebo. Third straight game he scored, by the way, I believe that or not.
Pretty impressive. Well, Daddy Lebo's pretty proud out there.
Yeah, exactly.
If y'all don't know who Jeff Lebo was, if you're younger, just Google Jeff Lebo. He's a dynamite player here. But the freshmen were awesome. They were so good. They all did good things out there. There was one kind of ugly possession for R.J. Davis with the dribble. It was kind of like, okay, when's he ever going to – is it grease on the ball? He still got up a shot. Didn't go in, but they were phenomenal. They were just the way they closed that first half, they just kind of took over. They looked like mature, older players. They weren't just guys who had game playing well against a club that just hasn't practiced a lot, and we need to say that about Louisville.
Yeah,
they've had 7 team practices since the Georgia Tech game. Thursday, they had individual workouts. Yesterday, they had a practice.
Haven't played since, February 1st?
And Chris Mack missed 3 of the practices. Yeah. Because he was quarantined with COVID.
Locked in his basement with COVID.
So, take that for whatever it's worth. It doesn't change the fact that the Tar Heels played on a very high level. They had energy early in the game, and they had a skip in their step. And sometimes we see this team go through periods where they're playing pretty well, and all of a sudden there's a lull. They didn't have that lull because the freshmen picked it up to close out the half. That was, and they scored, by the way, school record 71 points. I think you mentioned.
Freshmen,
what can you say? 71 points by the freshmen. They scored the last 33 in the first half, which I think decided the game. Very impressive.
Yeah, can't ask so much for from the freshmen.
No, you really can't.
You really can't. You talked about energy early on. That's kind of alluding to the second thing I want to talk about concerning the bigs as a whole. thought Armando Bacot and Garrison Brooks kind of set the tone early with what they were trying to do down low. Carolina, you could tell in that first TV timeout, Carolina was looking down low a lot. Armando Bacot, Garrison Brooks scored a few points, were extremely active down low. But just the bigs as a whole were really good. I mean, Day'Ron Sharpe led the way with, 21 and 11 tonight, double-double for him. So overall, I thought the bigs played a really important factor, and you could tell early on kind of what Carolina's game plan was.
Yeah.
And then not to mention those first few minutes, Carolina hits a call. I think Kerwin Walton hit a three, Caleb Love hit a three, kind of kept Louisville's defense a little open, a little bit honest, and Carolina just took advantage of it down low. It was a really good performance from the bigs.
Yeah, they were inside out. And I tweeted during the Northeastern game after Garrison's fifth shot, I think he was 1 for 5. So Garrison made those shots regularly last year.
All the time,
And he didn't hit him against Northeastern, which didn't have tremendous resistance defensively in the paint. Louisville does have
a little more
resistance,
aggressive down
especially
there.
when Malik, he didn't play a ton tonight, but Garrison hit a couple of those shots early, and I thought that was big. And Armando, Armando kind of gets his buckets in bunches. Lately, he has the last several games kind of been that way, but really kind of a lot of them. One of the things I really enjoyed about the bigs tonight was the way they worked together. There was a give and go with Day'Ron and Garrison.
Was phenomenal.
There was lights going out. This has happened several times this year. Welcome to the pandemic era of college basketball. Day'Ron and Garrison had a give and go one possession after they had a high-low. So this give and go was Garrison. I think Day'Ron hit Garrison cutting, and the play before that, Garrison had the high-low dump down to Day'Ron, which Garrison's really, really good at.
Really good at,
All 4 big men regularly play. First time all season, all 4 were in double figures. They were 26 for 35 combined from the floor. And how about this? Combined, Carolina was, 31 for 40, I think, on layups and dunks. Something like that. And that's been an issue lately. They were 20 for 55 in their last 2 games. On 24-55 last 2 games on layups. So they were far more efficient tonight, and they just, and part of this too isn't just the big scoring. The movement on the perimeter, the ball movement, the body movement, they were just a lot harder to defend tonight. The spacing, everything that they did, Roy even said, everything was clicking. We did everything well. The only thing they didn't do well was shoot free throws. And the result of this offense, the way it's designed, the way this system is designed, that if you're doing everything well, you're going to get a ton of shots inside. And doing everything well means the guys inside are converting. And they did that tonight. This was Carolina basketball at an extremely high level. And this was Carolina basketball the way Roy's going to sit back and watch the film. He'll find things to pick at because he always does. That's what great coaches do. But he's going to look back and say, we look like North Carolina tonight. For 40 minutes, not for 10, not the 18-minute stretch at Louisville that we talked about. Remember I said in the February, they're going to have to turn that into more minutes. And they honestly looked like North Carolina for 40 minutes tonight.
It was really efficient at times tonight. And I thought offensively, especially, Carolina was just phenomenal at times. I love to use this quote when Carolina's shooting the ball well, but it's a classic Roy line. Everything looks better when the ball goes in the basket, and it's just a prime example tonight.
But tonight, everything looked better leading up to the ball going in the basket.
Fantastic point, AJ. Last thing I want to talk about, Carolina's finally stringing a little bit of, games together. The past couple weeks have been so crazy, kind of going back to that Miami game. The whole season has been, but going back to that Miami game a couple weeks ago when that gets postponed, then, Carolina's able to reschedule early this week and play Northeastern. Now they've got a game coming up against Marquette on Wednesday as well. So, the Northeastern game I think helped, and Roy and a couple of the players talked about it as well. I think the Northeastern preparation, obviously it's not the competition Carolina's used to facing this time of year, ACC opponents, but no doubt just playing against a team that also caused Carolina some problems, particularly in that first half for a little bit in Northeastern, I think really prepared them for tonight. And then looking forward, you've got a decent team in Marquette who's got some good wins over some good teams this season. Don't pay attention to their record. I know it's not great right now, but they've got a few solid wins. So overall, Carolina's getting a few string of games together, trying to get in a little bit of a routine and rhythm. And I think that Marquette game is going to be huge if we can see if Carolina can kind of continue this form going into that one.
A lot of people referred to the Northeastern game as a ho-hum game. Yawn, it's just Northeastern. We took totally different, had a totally different attitude about that because they needed a game.
They just need to play.
And if you have a game, you need to play well, and they did play well. They won. It was their second time this year. They won by 20 points. And they beat a pretty good team. They beat a team that 144 in the NET, which is ahead of 2 ACC teams. They beat a team I think that would certainly go to BC and go to Miami and go to Wake Forest and possibly win right now. Second place in
their conference as well.
So 2 of the games that they've had postponed have been BC and Miami. So they played a comparable team to those 2, and they took care of business, and they got better. Because you need to be in rhythm. Rhythm is being better. The more you're in rhythm, the more efficiently, the more effectively you're going to play. And I think we saw the players, like you said, and that game helped them tonight. If they didn't play the other day, maybe they're rusty tonight. Maybe they take a while to find themselves. Tonight, maybe they get 28 minutes of Carolina basketball instead of 40. And that's what same thing about Marquette coming up. Marquette's plenty good. Dawson Garcia, any of you who follow Carolina basketball recruiting, Carolina recruited him pretty heavily for a while. Steve Wojciechowski, a former Duke player and assistant, is the head coach there. That club's won at Creighton, they won at St. John's, and they beat Wisconsin. They're perfectly capable of coming in here and winning. So Tar Heels are going to need to use this and fuel this into Wednesday night. It's that time of year now where you start to connect stuff, and you have to play at a high level, and you have to do it more than you don't do it. Otherwise, you're not going to do squat in March. And for this team, without this tonight, March may not even happen. They're closer to getting into the tournament now. Their NET is going to go up. And I think it's interesting, Roy said they don't talk about it, but the players said they do kind of talk about it. It's uncommon that here we are on February 20th to talk about Carolina's NCAA resume with respect to them getting into the tournament. Usually we talk about it with, okay, well, can they play in Greensboro or Charlotte or somewhere fairly close to North Carolina in the first weekend? Can they get a 1 seed? Are they going to get a 2 seed? But right now we're talking about them just getting to the tournament. And tonight helped big time, but so did Wednesday. Their NET rating went up 6 spots.
It's wild, yeah.
Or 4 spots after beating Northeastern, okay? So these games are very important. Wednesday night's very important. Understand that getting better Wednesday helped them play really well tonight, and they were phenomenal tonight. This is a process now.
That word, man. Had to bring that word back.
That's the football word we used a lot. And by the way, it's still a process in football.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're seeing the process try to connect itself now in basketball. They're playing better. The freshmen are playing better and more consistently, even with some of the bad games they've had. But they learned from those games. They learned from Clemson. They learned from Virginia. By the way, Walker Kessler, 3 straight good games now.
He's starting
to
figure it out.
Maybe he's a legitimate part of the 4-man rotation up front now. People wondered when that was going to happen. It's happening now. So that's this process. They've added a part. And Anthony Harris played tonight. The concussion issue is over with. So they've got 11 that they feel pretty good about. 10, 11, I guess Puff's still out. So that's not a bad spot to be in. This is a really good win for this team on multiple levels. Now they just have to connect it on Wednesday night, or this is all for naught.
Exactly. Like AJ mentioned, really good win for the Tar Heels tonight, 99-54 over Louisville. That's going to do it for us tonight. As always, guys, let's do this tonight. If you think this is the best you've seen Carolina basketball play this season, go ahead and give this video a like. Roy Williams said it was. I asked him the question, so trust me, he did. So if you thought this was the best you've seen Carolina play this season, be sure to give this video a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel as always, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.